This is WIIC-11 channel 11 Pittsburgh. It is time now for the 6:30 p.m. news roundup for the stories of Tuesday, August 9th, 1960. Good evening, everybody. I'm Peter Wiggins. Today is what's happening. Leopoldville, the Congo. The Central Congolese government today declared a state of emergency throughout the nation and sent troops to expel Belgian ambassador Jean de Van Bosch and her staff. The Belgian government announced that his ambassador and his staff were leaving for Brazzaville, capital of the French Congo. An ugly situation was averted during the day when UN troops prevented a mob of excited Congolese from molesting Ambassador Van den Bosch as he left the capital. Van den Bosch crossed the Congo River without mishap to Brazzaville, from where he was scheduled to fly home to Brussels. The decree was followed by the UN Security Council action in New York, ordering Belgium to draw its troops immediately from the succeeded Katanga province. Under the decree, gatherings of more than 5 persons were prohibited and curfew will be imposed between dusk and dawn. Congolese Premier Patrice Lumumba was taking quickly action to the combat arrest, and with his leadership and secession fever that grew while he was out of the country, he returned only last week. The decision to expel Van den Bosch and forced a break in the diplomatic relations when Lumumba announced on July 16th, but which was Belgium is ignored. Lumumba said today that the government would Katanga province soon ready to find the die for our country. If Belgian troops want to kill us, they can, he said. Lumumba insisted that there was no dissension in the government and that the president Joseph Kasavubu had no part in the maneuvers by members of the Abaco political party who secured a vote of censure against the premier Sunday. The Lumumba government announced that also that Belgian consulates in Quaqueteville, Lodeberg, and Stanleyville, and Bukavu, and Metalia, and Lisbon will be closed today. United Nations, New York. The Security Council earlier today authorized Secretary General Dag Hammarskjöld to send United Nations forces in the Congo secessionist Kalangi province. It was called upon Belgium to withdraw its troops from Katanga immediately. The vote of the Tunisian Sealandese Revolution was a 9-0 vote, with France and Italy abstaining. In Moscow, the Soviet Union today said that American U-2 pilot Francis Gary Powers had pleaded guilty to espionage charges. A 4,000 word indictment against the American said Mr. Powers pleaded guilty on the substance of the charge of espionage will go on the trial August 17th, his 31st birthday. The indictment carried by the official Russian TASS news agency and broadcast by Moscow radio will be read to Mr. Powers on the first day of the trial, but the plea of guilty has no legal validity until and unless Mr. Powers can make his plea publicly in court. Even if Mr. Powers paraded guilty in court, the prosecutor is obligated under Soviet law to proceed with the case and present with his evidence. The indictment quoted that Mr. Powers is saying that his U-2 reconnaissance airplane was shot down May 1st near Severodvinsk at an altitude of about 68,000 feet. Unexpectedly, I heard an explosion and I saw an orange phenomenon. Mr. Powers allegedly said the plane suddenly turned and it seemed to me that the wings and tail were cut off. It is possible that there was no direct hit and that the explosion took place near the plane and shockwave or shell fragment hit the plane. This happened at an altitude of approximately 68,000 feet. It was shut down about 25 to 30 miles south and southeast of Severodvinsk. At that point, I was flying in a regular course. While falling, I was pinned against the instrument panel and I was unable to use the ejector device. So I raised the canopy in the cabin and then loosened my belt and jumped at the top of the parachute, opening it automatically. His guilt is condemned by material and written evidence, experts' findings, and witnesses' testimony, TASS said. TASS announced that the indictment against Mr. Powers has been published here. In Washington, Secretary of State Christine Herter told Russia today to take warning that the United States foreign policy will continue to be forceful and effective during the coming political campaigns. Our opponents, Mr. Herter told his press conference, should take warning that the American government and Mr. people can move forward with speed, force, and unity in just as any other time. Mr. Herter said in a statement that he wanted to disabuse the Russians of any foreign ideas that U.S. foreign policy became paralyzed during the election periods, let the Kremlin miscalculate U.S. intentions, and spark World War III. Let no one mistake for a sign of weakness and seek the profit thereof. What is it that instead of a sign of strength that we are American and citizens of a free country and can end essentially and open debate out of policy so as to drive at the best political decision for our nation, Mr. Herter said. Meanwhile, the United States told Russia today that it would not be affected by Soviet threats from giving the Polaris missiles to the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. In a note delivered to the Kremlin and made public today, the government accused Moscow of pursuing a policy of threats to disturb world tensions. The United States has been negotiating to the armed NATO to land-based Polaris missiles since April, when Defense Secretary Thomas S. Gates Jr. offered the missiles at a NATO meeting. On the other points of Mr. Herter's news conference, he placid as completely arbitrary Cuba's seizure this week of virtually all remaining American-owned property. He said the seizures left out the two essentials of the international law, adequate and proper compensation. He said the United States would continue to file a diplomatic protest against such criminal actions to put this country's legal position. Here. In New York, A late pickup in buying lifted the stock market today with copper and oil futures among the favorites. Buyers' favorite stocks which have dropped to a so-called bargaining levels. Strength in copper was attributed to the Congo situation. Stocks gained 2 points, followed by Kennecott with a rise of almost a much. In euros, Gulf advanced more than a point. In Havana, Cuba, the Cuban government set up a mineral institute today in a move repelling foreshadowing seizure of $175 million in U.S.-owned mining properties. Almost sure to be affected by the cabinet action where the usage of $100 million U.S. government-owned nickel mining complexes and $75 million Morbate nickel and cobalt properties on the American Freeport Sulfur Company. The cabinet in effect nationalized the mining, petroleum, and electric power industries by making them strictly state ventures of Cuba last weekend, formalized earlier seizures of American-owned oil companies and public utilities. Our government announced disclosed today that the two more important collaborations of the Fidel Castro regime have defected. They were listed as Felipe Pazos, former president of the Cuban National Bank, and Colonel Ramon Joaquin Lopez, a hero of the revolutionary struggle which overthrew the Batista regime in January 1959. The disclosure came in an announcement that they had been ousted. All prior detectives had similarly been ousted after they walked out of the dawn of their government jobs. In Washington, the Democratic-controlled Senate on the motion by Senator Joseph Clark of Pennsylvania Democrat killed President Eisenhower's new civil rights bill today shortly after it was introduced. Senate Republican leader Irvin M. Dirksen of Illinois introduced a legislature which the president recommended in a special congressional message only yesterday. The move to table the measure was a stormy preview of the 1960 election, politics in which they expected to be in the reconvened congressional session. Democrats accused the Republicans of politics, and Senator Clark is a strong proponent of civil rights legislation moved to the table and thus killed the bill for the session of the Congress. Senator Clark's motion was quickly put to the small call vote and demanded the Senate Democratic leader, Lyndon B. Johnson, as Democratic vice presidential nominee. Both Democratic presidential nominee John F. Kennedy and Senator Johnson vowed to kill the measure. Vice President Richard M. Nixon, Senate President and officer, and GOP presidential nominee was not president during the vote. Mr. Nixon, voters only in a case of a tie. A breakdown in the announced vote showed 52 Democrats and 2 Republicans. Senator John J. Williams of Delaware and Milton R. Young of North Dakota voted at the table, while 24 Republicans and 4 Democrats, Senators Paul H. Douglas of Illinois and Philip Hart of Michigan and Wayne Morse of Oregon and Pat McNamara of Michigan voted against killing the GOP measure. Senator Johnson had warned earlier that Congress would accomplish little this year if they got tied up in a political flurry of bills which would cause lengthy debate. He obviously referred to the civil rights among the such measures. In Washington, a federal judge today refused to order a special election to tangle the affairs of the independent bakery and confectionery workers BCW body and indicated might do so later. Federal Judge Georgia Hart said the referendum rebels in the union are seeking to ask President James J. Cross the ultimate relief. He said he cannot act on attorneys for Mr. Cross and the colleagues have had time to file and answer amended rebel charges. Jones and Laughlin Steel Corporation found Pittsburgh works have been shut down today for probation for an interplant railroad strike scheduled for 7 a.m. tomorrow. The Barbados Railroad Trainmen represented 301,000 employees in the Bengalic Connecting Railroad served notice of their strike yesterday in a contract dispute. Late today, receiving no further word from the union, J&L announced it was banking its 3 Operation Blast Furnaces in Hazelwood at Stoughton and Harf's unit of the South Side. The whole Pittsburgh works could be down cold by 7 a.m. tomorrow, a company spokesman said. They should have also gone to the National Railway Meditation Service prior stations and the union is legally free to strike. Company and union bargaining met again today, and W.P. Kennedy, president of the BRT, said in Cleveland that the union is making every effort to settle this dispute. He said that the company had admitted in its offer which it claims that it was sales tax similar, but it does not. The company Pittsburgh Works stretches its along both the banks of the Bengale River and Hazelwood on the south side. The railroad, a wholly owned J&L subsidiary, moves equipment and materials and supplies within the plant. One of the main tasks is to move molten aluminum and its iron giant tank cars from the blast furnaces in Hazelwood across the company's hot metal bridge to open its half-sided making units on the south side. Works manager Walter H. Lewis posted notices on company bulletin boards last night informing employees that both plants will shut down in an event of the Moncon strike. Some 12,000 steel workers work at the 2 plants. A Moncon spokesman said the railroad had offered the trainmen as a package contract settlement equal to the steel agreement. He said the same package was accepted last Sunday for Cuyahoga Valley Railroad, which serves J&L's Cleveland Works. We offered a package settlement that is as good as agreements already reached with all the other unions on the Moncon, company spokesman said. In the world of sports, here, there are quite a few streaks going on line tonight when the Pats meet the Stellar Cubs in a 2-game series at Forbes Field tonight. The league leaders were 5 straight and Vinegar Ben Mizell, who pitches this evening, owns a 4-game string plus 26 scores in the mass in its last 3 starts. Mizell blanked the Giants in San Francisco after Willie Mays' first inning homer, then tossed a 2-hit shutout at the Cubs in Chicago. He followed this up with a 5-hit, 1-0 job at the Giants last Friday night. The Pirates lead was shaven by half a game last night. as the Braves nick the Dodgers 7-6 on Wes Covington's pinch hit 8th inning home run. The Braves are now 5 games back of the Buccos here. The Pirates shell shocked the Giants by sweeping the 4-game series to stretch their lead to 5.5 games for the second time this season. Roberto Clemente is expected to report tonight after being hospitalized since running into the right field wall Friday night. He had 5 stitches taken and cut under his chin when he was shaken up. Although he may be in uniform, the fleshy Puerto Rican star likely will sit out for a day or so, since Gino Smelly and Joe Christopher have been feeling very well. Alright, let's take a look at the weather. Here are current conditions at 6:30 reports here in Greater Pittsburgh International Airport. It's 6 o'clock. We have a temperature of 80 degrees is that temperature, and the dew point is around 64 degrees. Now 66 degrees with a heat index 82, humidity at 62%, barometer 20.94 inches, visibility 10 miles, wind southwest by 6, conditions overcast skies. Okay, take a look at our current conditions around the region. 80s all phrase from Butler and Allegheny Airport and Latrobe and in Indiana and alternate Johnstown. It's 86 in Cumberland, Maryland, and Morgantown, West Virginia, and 86 in Wheeling, West Virginia, 75 out in Bradford, 72 in Erie, 80 in Cleveland, and 82 in Akron. And Youngstown's got about 82 degrees. Alright, let's take a look at our national weather map here, and it shows air from the Gulf of Mexico bringing warm and humid air to much of the southeastern states there. And a station front from New Mexico stretching it down through northern Texas and stretching in front the middle Mississippi Valley and the Ohio and down to Virginia and out to sea. And low pressure in the desert southwest and eastern Great Lakes and western Pennsylvania, including here in Pittsburgh here. And a frontal boundary bringing cool air to much of the Great Lakes and stretching it down for the much of the Rockies, and a cold front from the Pacific Canada bringing cool air to much of the west coast there. Okay, so take a look at our forecast for tonight. We'll go like this. Tonight, fair and low temperature change, low about 62 degrees, and for tomorrow, cloudy and warm with some scattered showers of storms, high about 84 degrees here. Sunset about 8:26 p.m. And that is going to be it for the 6:30 p.m. news roundup. And it's August 9th, 1960 on a Tuesday. PJ with you. Have a good evening. Coming to next, Channel 11 will be the Huntley Breaker Report. We'll be back at 11 o'clock with a late report. Have a good evening.